for those for those kids who, like my age, who have big dreams of becoming voice actors, especially the ones that voice act a lot. What do you have? What do you have to say about them, and what are tips you can give them?
Well, I will tell you, you would want me to be honest with you, wouldn't you?
Yes.
You wouldn't want me to tell you something that wasn't true or sugarcoat something. So I will be honest with you. When I started voice acting, it was a very small industry. It wasn't that hard to get into because it was just getting off the ground, and they were looking for actors, and I was very blessed, and I use that term on purpose, very blessed to get the opportunity to go and audition for this tiny little place in Houston called ADV Films. I mean, it was small, you guys, like you could put it on the stage. It was just a little studio where these guys that love anime wanted to dub it into English. So I went there and auditioned, and I got cast, and I just kept getting cast in more and more shows. It was pure gift. Now the big thing was, though, that I had a lot of experience in acting. See, that's the thing, is that I had already spent many years developing skills that served well for voice acting. And what you'll find is most voice actors have that in common. They have a huge background in theater, stage, and acting experience of all kinds. So if you want to get involved in voice acting, the best thing you could do is develop your skills as an actor. Get involved in school plays, get involved in community theater, get involved in church productions, anything to develop your skills as an actor, first and foremost. And then the second thing is you have to be where that kind of work is done. And that's not unusual, right? I mean, I've often told people if I wanted to be a country western singer, where would I go? Nashville, right? Country music capital of the world. Or maybe Texas, like Austin, or something. But there are certain places where certain things are done in greater abundance. So if you're interested in voice acting, you need to develop your skills in acting, and then also be where that kind of work is done. But most importantly, learn to do things that you can pay your bills with. And I know your parents are going to appreciate me telling you that.
I know.
Because you know what, I've gotten emails from people before you guys. They're like, I'm going to get out of school and I'm going to move to Dallas and I'm going to work for Funimation. I'm like, and how are you going to pay your rent? How are you going to buy gas to put in your car? You have to be responsible, guys. You have to be realistic. You have to approach it, you know what I mean, in a responsible manner. I would never want, anybody to foolishly think that you're just going to go someplace and be discovered and be a star. It just doesn't normally work like that. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of tenacity. You know what that word means?
No.
You don't give up. It's like when people say no, you go, okay, well, I'm going to try again. You're not good enough? Okay, I'm going to work harder and get better. That's tenacity. Instead of going, oh, okay, I guess I'll never do that. Be tenacious. If it's truly something you have a passion for, be tenacious. Okay? The word for today, tenacity. Okay?
So I was planning on recording this for my viewers on my YouTube channel, but you do Italian, you do Greece for Italian.
Yes.
I was thinking, record this for me, that you would do a pickup line in your voice of Greece.
A pickup line?
Yes.
Okay, now it's getting scary. Pickup line? Who would I be picking up?
You don't know what a pickup line is?
Oh, I know what a pickup line is. Who would I be picking up?
Well, you're...
No! It's getting weirder! I tell you what, do me a favor. Are you going to come to my autograph session?
Today?
If you come, we'll do it there, okay?
Okay.
Because I want to get to as many people as possible, okay? Thank you, sweetie. Hi! Naruto! What's your question?
Sorry, I'm losing my voice.
I hear you. I understand.
Alright, so my question was, what is the most craziest thing that has happened to you, that you haven't told before?
That I haven't blocked out because of its traumatic nature. The weird, craziest thing, wow, let me think. Nothing really comes to mind. You know what, I always get envious when I hear other voice actors talk about really crazy, funny things that happen to them. And like the best stories I've ever heard are always their stories. Aaron had a lot of funny stories when he was recording Alphonse for the first series. I do have a very embarrassing story, and if you've seen it on YouTube in a video before, I apologize, but it's the same story, it's the truth. So, we were recording Full Metal, and I turned to the page where the lines that I was supposed to record next were, and it was a very emotional scene, which I love. I love those emotional scenes. So I'm looking at the lines, and I'm looking at this line, this first line, and I'm focusing on it, and I'm running it over in my head, and then I'm kind of getting in this space where it needs to be really emotional. And the director's like, okay, you ready to record? I'm like, yeah, go ahead. And you hear boop, boop, boop. And I started recording the line with as much emotion and passion as I could. I was almost at the point of crying. And then I finished the line. And there was this silence. And the director came on the microphone and he said, that was really, really great. But that wasn't your line. And I was like, wait, what? And I had just looked at the wrong line. I'd like done somebody else's line as Ed. So that was a little embarrassing. So I would say that was my embarrassing moment. Thank you, sweetie. Hey, girl. Hi.
Is it okay if I have a request?
Sure, what is your request?
Could you treat me how Tamaki would treat a customer? Please?
Is your dad here? Thank God. I'll kill that son of a... Well, since you have his bear, turn around. And what is your name?
Martina.
Say hi to Martina.
Hi, Martina.
Welcome to the host club, Martina. I must tell you the truth. My heart has been fluttering all morning, waiting for you to get here. You are the sun, moon, and stars. You are everything I ever dreamed of, my princess. And I will worship you forever. Do not tell your dad that. Okay? Hi. Believe me, I really want to answer questions. I don't just want to do weird things like that. You know what's funny? Can I say something really funny? Every once in a while, somebody will get online, Vic Mignogna is such a freaking pervert. He's like, whispering in these young girls' ears and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, do a job. I think to myself, what's wrong with you? I mean, if you watch the people ask me to do these things, right? And it's not like we're hiding in a corner somewhere. It's in plain view of everybody, and it's all in good fun. I don't understand why people act like that sometimes. But hey, can I pause for 1 second? I have something important I want to share with you. I promised myself that I was going to encourage people any chance I got, and this is one of those chances. I do this at every panel ever since Free, ever since the cast for Free was announced. And here it is. When the cast was announced for Free, some of you may or may not know that there were some really hateful people out there that started posting a bunch of really mean things. I don't even know why they care, you know what I mean? But to literally take the time to get online and post literally, hand to God, flat out lies and hateful slander about somebody just because they didn't think you should play a role in a cartoon, it was so heartbreaking. It really was. It was so hurtful. And I couldn't understand why people would be that way. And here's the worst part. I have received literally hundreds of emails from fans who have been bullied. And I'll bet you if I were to ask in this room, how many of you have been bullied before? I wasn't even going to do it, but go ahead, look around. If there is one fandom on the planet Earth that you would never expect someone to be bullied in, it would be the anime fan world. Wouldn't you think so? Wouldn't you think that there are enough people who have been bullied because they're anime fans, or because of what they wear, or what color their hair is, or because they like this game or that music or whatever, or pierce, it doesn't even matter. But enough people are in the anime world that have been bullied and ostracized and teased and made fun of. You would think, you would never find anime fans bullying someone in their own fan world, would you? But you do. Isn't that sad? How lonely, how empty do you have to be to start picking on people in your own fan base when you have more than likely been picked on yourself? So here's what I'd like to ask you guys to do. 2016. I want us to make a pact. I want us to make a little pinky pact, okay? I want you to promise to do something for me. Will you do this? You ready? Here it comes. Be a voice for good.
Yes.
Be a voice for love. Be a voice for encouragement. Be a voice for positivity, for God's sake. Don't we need a little bit more of that in the world right now? So here's what I'd like to ask you to do. Whenever you are on a forum or a blog or a website and you hear somebody talking garbage, shut it down. Be a voice for right and for good. Because here's something I can tell you, there are an awful lot more of you than there are of them. They just make a lot of noise. They just make a lot of noise. They are very much in the minority, but they make a lot of noise. And the last thing I would ever want to see happen is for our fan base to be taken over by people that are hateful and mean and negative. Okay? So you guys, I've done this with thousands of people at different panels over the last, I don't even remember when Free was announced. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a year ago. And so I've done this. I promised myself that I would do this as much as I can to encourage the fan base to be positive and to be voices for good. You know, there's a very, very famous saying from hundreds of years ago. It's a Greek saying, and the translation is this: silence gives consent. You know what that means? That means that if you just be quiet and don't do anything, you might as well be giving people permission to act that way. So be proactive, okay? Be voices for good and for love, for encouragement and kindness. The people around you need it. They need it bad. Everybody in this room needs it. And if you can be that little bit of light in somebody's life, like Madison, if you can be that little bit of light in somebody's life, it's the best gift you'll ever get. It's a wonderful thing. I would want that for all of you, okay? Yes. 10 minutes, okay. Wait a minute, can I do the same thing? Oh no, it's happening again.
Oh my god.
What? You know who Rain is in love with? The swimming pool, right? He just wants to swim and be the best and beat the crap out of, I don't know. You see that? See, that's tough, baby. Because it's not really in his character. You know what I mean? See, you see with Tamaki, like he's all about entertaining the ladies, right? Rain isn't about that at all. I mean, so it would be a real weird stretch.
Pretend that feeds water.
What? What? Okay, come here. Here's all I have to say. Miami? That's cool. Miami. Jump into the deep end with me. The swimming pool, you guys. Come on, the swimming pool. Get your minds out of the gutter. Let's do a lightning round, okay? Let's see how quick. We only have like 10 minutes. I want to get to as many people as possible. I'm sorry? Can I say my compliment for Mustang? I know exactly. exactly what. That was a really good way to try to trick me. I won't do it. I love you. Come here. I love you with all my heart. But I promised everybody that I would never say that God-forsaken line again. And most people here don't even know what we're talking about. That's even funnier. So I will tell you, years ago, literally, before you were born, Travis and Aaron and I were at a convention, and we were doing a panel together, and somebody just like this sweet girl got up to the microphone and said, "Say something nice about each other." Like compliment each other's characters. You know, Ed's usually at odds with Mustang, right? So, Mustang, Travis said, "Edward is not short." Like trying to be some kind of a lame compliment, and Aaron said something, and then I said, okay, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna do this once. One time, just for you, because it's 2016 and I haven't done it. I've been faithful to my promise for probably 5 years now. And you're making me pregnant. Okay, so I said, "Colonel Mustang is dead sexy." In a miniskirt. Okay, but that's where the story goes bad. I thought it would be funny. One-time thing, right? You just made it up in a panel, and that was it. Oh, no. Every panel I went to, people were coming up and going, "Can you say Colonel Mustang is," I'm like, I was doing it. I was being a good guy. But then it really got crazy, and fans started asking other voice actors to do it. Like literally, they asked Sonny Strait, who plays Hughes, to say it. Then they asked Chris Sabat, who played Armstrong, to say it. Like, they just kept, and then the worst of all, Aaron, poor little Aaron, he's like 13 years old at the time, and he goes to a convention, and he and I were both there, I think, and somebody asked him to say it in his Alphonse voice. And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I just saw this smile come across his face, like he thought it was going to be so funny. And I was looking at him like, "Dude, don't do it. Don't do it. Trust me, I've been there. Don't do it." And he goes, "Colonel Mustang is dead sexy in miniskirt." And the kids went crazy, and I looked at him, and I'm like, "You just signed your death warrant, man. You just did it. You went over the edge." And I swear to God, a month later, Aaron calls me on the phone and he goes, "They won't let me stop saying it!" Every place he went, they kept making him say it. So that is why I vowed that line would never, ever be resurrected from the dead. You are to blame. Got about 5 minutes.
You Joey?
Sorry?
Are you Joey?
Am I Jelly?
Not you, but person.
Oh, I'm Jelly.
Why doesn't Edward outright like milk?
I don't know.
It's
I freaking love milk.
It sucks.
See that beautiful man right there? That's Jim. And he literally brought me some milk this morning so that I could make something in my room. I love milk. You know what I love? Oh my gosh, what's your name? Justin, come with me. You know what I love, Justin? I love a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Crunchy, extra crunchy peanut butter and strawberry jam on white bread and a big cold glass of milk. Holy moly, man. It's the best. I love milk. Do you like milk?
Yes, I
See? I don't know what Ed's problem is. I don't know. I really don't. But we both know he's missing out on the great Moo Moo juice. Thanks, man. Yes, sir. It's probably our last question. I'm so sorry. I mean, we had 5 minutes. We can't get, obviously, we're not going to get to everybody. I wish we could do longer panels. I wish we could do like 90 minutes or 6 hours. Yes, what's your question?
First off, it's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
It is my pleasure. What's your name?
friends call me JP.
JP, we're gonna call him JP.
And my favorite character you have ever done is Spirit from Soul Eater. What was your favorite line to record as
Well, I gotta tell you, every time I see a Maka cosplayer, I can't help it, right? I have to go, Maka! Maka! Right? And then she'll turn and look at me and I'll go, your dad loves you. So I'm gonna end with this story. This is my Maka story and my Death Side story. This is my favorite story. This is called The Day I Killed Darth Vader. You ready? I was at a convention. It was like a pop culture convention. So there were a lot of real celebrities there, you know what I mean? Like TV stars and movie stars. So I'm at my signing table, and literally right here, where this lovely girl is sitting, David Prowse, who played Darth Vader. Okay? So I mean, he's right there. And he's sitting at his table, and I'm sitting at mine. And, you know, every once in a while, I'd, you know, kind of smile at him or say something. And the fanboy in me was going, it's Darth Vader. I'm sitting right beside him, like, so cool. Hi, how are you? Darth Vader. So I'm nerding out, right? So then, I look down the line, very much like this. I look down the line, and I see